Oh, it's on me. Oh, world. What's going on, world? You know what it is. Welcome to the Life Malcolm Show. Appreciate you tuning in right here on In Touch News, where everybody is a star, and the biggest star is you. As you can tell, I'm excited to be here today. Usually I wait 15 minutes or so and then bring the guest in the room, but we don't. An hour is not a whole lot of time, and an hour certainly is not enough for me and my man right here to chop it up. So I wanted to make sure that we maximize all the time that we can, DJ. And so, And so, what I want to do is, I'm just gonna go ahead and introduce you, man. I ain't gonna, hold it off. Cause you can just jump in because we got a lot of stuff to talk about, and we're just gonna talk shop around here today.
Right on.
All right. So listen, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, comrades, friends, and those listening on assignment, I want to say, first of all, I appreciate DJ, CEO, and Mrs. DJ, CEO, also known as Tampa Bay Tammy, making this thing possible for us right here on the Life Malcolm Show each and every week. Definitely want to appreciate my super duper producer, always working the magic in the background to make me look good in the foreground. And I cannot express enough how much I appreciate you tuning in. If in fact you are, I don't have all my little devices and stuff set up, so I can't tell who looking. But I'm talking like you're looking, because I'm in my heart. I know somebody is watching or gonna be watching soon. I know how y'all do. Y'all wait till the brother get off air because y'all don't want the views to go. Then y'all go watch it. I know how you do it. But listen, if you're not tuned in right away, too bad for you. I'm gonna give the website out right quick: www.intouchnews.com. You can go there, tune in, check us out on the YouTube, interact with comments, of course, on the Facebook joint, interact with comments. And you can call in at 813-444-9588. Call in. You don't have to talk to me. You can talk to my man right here. He got a lot to say. 813-444-9588. So I can stop calling my man, even though he's my man, 100 grand. Let me go ahead and introduce him. Yo, I met this brother many, many, many black hairs ago. Like, neither one of us had gray. Now, both of us,
I had no gray at the time.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, but you got like 2 strands in your hair, but yeah, no gray, right? Both young. He was still in college, which was inspiring because at that time I was a college dropout. I was an old college dropout too, and I was like, man, he used to be like, man, come to the show, because he lived over in Orlando at the time. I was like, man, you ought to come over to Tampa to Black on Black Rhyme. So he's like, man, I got to go to class. I got to study. I'm like, you already smart. You don't have to go to no class.
You did say that one time.
Yeah, you don't have to go to no college, man. You already straight. Come on to the show. And but I was, secretly admiring his collegiate aspirations and accomplishments. And the brother hosted a show in Orlando. I stayed in Orlando all the time just because it was such a good vibe. He had a spot that had good food and, for the most part, good people. But the thing that kept me coming back to Orlando was this brother right here, always hospitable, always kind, encouraging, and respectful, because I predated him in the poetry game a little bit, and he always showed the kind of deference that the poetry world so desperately needed then and needs now. That's why it's so morose, moribund as a culture, certainly at least in Central Florida, and at this time. And so this brother represented all the stuff that was good, in my view, about spoken word. And I wanted to see new venues flourish, especially when the venue owners ran the thing the right way. But more than that, I began to see how this brother moved, not just as a student, as a dedicated scholar, and as a dedicated practitioner of spoken word and running a venue, but I got to see how the brother moved as a man. This brother got married. And I was like, man, why you doing that? Man, don't do that, because he was young, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, man, if you only knew. He was like, "Nah, man, this right. I'm gonna do it." And the brother did it, and it's been a long time. It's been what, about 12, 13? Yeah, I know it's been a minute. I remember you got married on January 1st. Yeah, and so man, the brother got married, and since then he's been the apotheosis of good husband, the epitome of good fatherhood, and more than that, I've had the opportunity to watch this brother grow into not just an incredible father, an incredible husband, but an incredible men for others through the schools that he runs for children. I mean, he has dedicated his life to letting his light shine, not just in his household, but in his community. And he makes the good work that he does popular, if you will. As popular as good work can be on Facebook these days. But he done light the candle and put it under a bushel, or light the lamp and put it under the bushel. He lets the light shine. And from day one to now, he has been the same, except for growth and elevation. But his character has not changed. He's been the same genuine dude. I am so honored, so happy, and so proud to call my brother. Right now, I want y'all to put your hands together for my brother, because he's your brother too. My man, Cameron HopeWell. Y'all, I call him C Hope. Y'all put your hands together for C Hope. Yeah. What's going on, brother?
Man, I appreciate those words.
Man.
The sentiment is, of course, shared.
You gotta, get close to the mic so the people can hear your voice. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I can't hear.
Can you
hear me? Am I deaf? I know I am, but I mean, am I that deaf? Okay. All right, so go ahead, man.
Yeah, but over the many years, we have had many conversations that I've expressed the same sentiment to you and appreciation. So I appreciate those words, Life.
Man, so all right, now you've known me for a long time, and when I say a long time, about 15 years, and I've changed a little. I'm not as young as I used to be, not as let me see, not as
aggressive.
Yeah, that might be not as apparently aggressive. Yeah. More. I'm getting more into my glacier phase of life. A volcano and a glacier have about the same amount of energy, kinetic energy, really. When the volcano was not active, but they both hold a tremendous amount of energy. They just, when they release it, it looks a little different. So I'm moving into my glacier phase. You know what I mean? So, but we still got to talk about some things that have happened over the past week or so, maybe 2 weeks. Things like the Selvin trial verdict. That's something I want to hear what you had to say about that. I want to talk about. Got to talk about X. Got to talk about. I don't know. I mean, Black Rob. I knew the brother for the one song. He, Bad Boy. I was always a Death Row Tupac. Even before Death Row, I was always a Tupac guy. So that whole Bad Boy, Death Row beef. Man, I couldn't really get into none of those guys. So but I knew the song. Whoa. I mean, it was a huge anthem. So I want to talk about that a little bit. And of course, Shock G.
Yeah.
And I want to say a few things about that. And but I want to talk about you though, and all this tremendous work that you do with the young people. I want to talk about the schools. I want to talk about your entrepreneurial ventures rather, which probably are some adventures in there too. Yeah, for sure. So want to do that, and definitely want to talk about the book. I'm gonna break it out like right around the second half of the show.
Right on.
But before we get that, we got 5 minutes, man. I just want to say something. And you could jump in on this conversation, but I needed to say this to the people. This past, since we last saw each other, y'all, I went to the Tiger Bay Club. Tiger Bay Club is this a club of what looks like mostly white people. They are self-proclaimed movers and shakers. When I went to the Tiger Bay luncheon this past Friday, there were judges present, lawyers present, elected officials present, as they're called, so-called elected officials present, and people like that, right? Self-proclaimed movers and shakers. And the conversation centered around, there was a panel discussion. And here's the thing, right? The lunch is overpriced. It's like $50, $75 for salad, pasta, and like some chicken. and some bread, something like that, right? And you have to be a member in order to ask questions of the panelists. And I'm not a member. I'm not a mover. I don't move and shake like that. I'm not a member of that group, right? But they had this discussion that was supposed to be centered around maybe the George Floyd murder, maybe the Chauvin verdict, but certainly how those things and other instances or occurrences of police brutality or the contradictions in the African community with the police as it related to the rebellions that took place last summer, right? And so they had this panel of Negroes. One was the president of the Tampa NAACP, Yvette Lewis. The other one is dang, I didn't want to say these people's name. Since I said one, I gotta say them all. I don't like popularizing these people, but anyway, I just want to say the name of the organization they belong to and let people figure it out on themselves. Go do some research. But they know me, I know them. So Stanley Gray was on the panel. I think he runs the UC. What is it? Not the UCLA. What is that? That's a school. The Urban League, the UL. He runs the Urban League. It has something to do with it. And it's this other woman. I don't have her name right, but I'm gonna find her name since I said. But I don't know her. She talks about she's a community activist, man. And so I had the opportunity to go to that lunch. Somebody I used to call friend, but to that point invited me to this thing, and also over since the last show had an opportunity to watch the DMX funeral. And I don't know what was worse, Faith Evans's rendition of my godmother's solos. My godmother used to sing the hell out of Going Up Yonder, and I don't know what the hell Faith Evans was doing, and I don't know what was worse, her singing at the funeral or these Negroes answering these questions. Now, these white people, movers and shakers, stood up before these Negroes and asked questions. I'm gonna throw the questions out there right now. On the other side of the break, I'm gonna come back and ask the questions again for those who just tune in. But I'm gonna ask you to see how you answer the questions. Then I'm gonna tell you the pitiful, pusillanimous answers that these Negro leaders gave to the white movers and shakers. And then I'm going to tell you how I would have answered. All right, so 3 questions, 3 important questions. One came from an educator, a white woman who called herself an educator, teacher, person, whatever. She asked, what can I, as an educator, do? I'm an educator of, wayward children, or whatever, whatever they use. And what can I do as an educator to help with the relationship between black people and the police? That was essentially the question. This is not verbatim. It's essentially the question. That's one question. The other question was, what can I do? Now, this woman said, person? No, different okay, woman. Different woman. She said, we are movers and shakers. She said, what can you tell me as a member of the Mover and Shaker Club? What can you tell me to do so that I can help? And then the third question that had some importance came from this confusion that these Negroes set up for the people. On the one hand, they say defund the police and disarm the police. Actually, disarm the police. They said defund too, but they said disarm the police. But then they turn around and say, but it's not safe to go through the neighborhood without the police. Like if you're doing a ride along, I got you. Doing a ride along, you can't just ride around unarmed with the police. You need your strap too, right? So the white woman says, you say on the one hand, disarm the police, but then on the other hand, you say it's not safe to ride around. And then this Negro had the most atrocious answer of the evening to that question. So those 3 questions. What as an educator? What does an educator can do? What can I do as just a mover and shaker? And then how you deal with this contradiction you set up about we need to disarm the police, but you feel like you ain't even safe riding with the police and you ain't got strapped. All right, then. So those 3 questions, you can mold those over. I know you don't need much time, And we're going to be right back. You can answer the question, too. Call us right here, 813-444-9588, The Life Malcolm Show. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all gotta see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text Barbershop to 97779 to sign.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text Barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan. We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
How to find each other.
The whole experience was fine.
Most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Smoothing out your favorite R&B flavors.
What's your flavor? Tell me what's your flavor.
In Touch Radio.
So, I'm going to give them to you in the same order I offered them up. Listen, y'all, what we do right here, we got my man, super duper father, super duper husband, super duper example in the community of teacher, leader, mentor, if you will. And I don't know if you still do poetry at all, but
Rarely.
from what I recall, he wasn't a bad poet either. But right now, he's on the spot because we have 3 questions for him that I pulled from my encounter with the movers and shakers of the Tiger Bay Club this past week at their luncheon, where they featured Yvette Lewis, Stanley Gray, and this woman. I got to find her name. And but while you're answering the question, I'm gonna be looking for her name, but listening to you too. First question that they posed to the Negro panel was, as an educator, what can I do as an educator of like wayward children? Like,
But I gotta ask,
yeah.
before you go on, I gotta ask.
Go ahead.
Was this Negro panel solely Negroes at a
3 Negroes
at an all white function?
It was 3 Negroes, and then you had in the crowd you had 2 ministers, 2
Mhm.
African ministers,
Mhm.
and a couple other Africans in that group or in the cut. It wasn't clear, it was clear they wanted to be there. They had tickets, you understand me, or they members, you know what I'm saying? And then you had a couple other little Negroes in the back. So about 7 Negroes all together, and then me,
And then in a crowd of how many would you guess?
I would say it had to be about 70, maybe 100 people in there.
So a strong minority.
Oh, easy.
Strong minority.
Yeah, easy.
Okay.
But they was in there, like,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
okay, all right.
Yeah.
But I'm in there in the back.
Yeah. You was just there.
Yeah.
Furniture.
Yeah, pretty much.
Furniture.
So,
okay. Now, as
Yeah.
the question, as I understand it, was a teacher asking what she could do about the relationship between
what
her
she
students
could
and
do as an
police.
educator to influence or to have some kind of positive impact on the relationship between police and Africans.
Okay. As an educator, she can stop sending children to the principal's office, talk to them, listen to children. I don't know what grade level she's educating. However, the answers are usually coming out of children's mouths if you listen long enough. The problem with her sending children to the principal's office and her idea of wayward children is their answers are right in front of you. Typically, you are their answer. So those are 2 things immediately: is stop sending children to someone else to deal with what they're expressing in class. And then number 2, find a way to listen to these children. I think a lot of times with the term teacher, you think that you're supposed to go in and give out. A lot of times, if you listen long enough, you receive something.
Yeah.
And she should have already had that answer.
Yeah.
She didn't have to go to the Tiger Bay Club to get that answer.
Yeah.
Her students are telling her that answer.
Yeah.
And she's in front of them telling them, no, that's not the right answer. And she doesn't like that. That's frustration.
Yeah.
So then she goes to some adults in a room, in a panel of 3, and asks them, well, what do you guys say I should do? The children have already told you.
Yeah.
The children are in the streets.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are propelling these movements. The children are the ones that are writing out these movements. The children are the ones who have decided that this must stop.
Yeah.
Teachers are pushing back and telling them, well, that's not the way it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
That's why she doesn't have an answer. She's
So-
got an answer. She don't like the answer.
So now, Yvette Lewis answered the question, and her answer was, why do I have to teach my child, my black child, to put their hands on the steering wheel or to not reach for anything when they get pulled over by the police before I even teach them how to spell their name or some jive like that? You know, my answer would have been, teach history right. Help the young Africans understand the contradiction that exists between them and the police based on history. You know, not this mythology that you teach, that you pass off as history, but teach them history.
But I think that they already do, and I think that's why they're in the street. These movements that we're seeing, where it's eruptions in the street, these are children.
Yeah.
These are high school seniors in a lot of cases, college freshmen. They know that there's something wrong here.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but they don't know what.
Why? Or
You see
what?
what I'm saying? Yeah, in my view. Now you in the school game. Maybe you should tell the people exactly what you do. I said, you run school, but tell the people exactly what you do. Say so they'll know that you have some foundation of what you laying down.
I've taught high school, middle school, and all the way down to elementary school. Currently, I own and operate 2 daycares for small children.
Yeah. Say more about it. You got some names?
I mean, people
might want to send the children there.
Well, our daycares are in Claremont, Florida. We Care Academy, and We Care Academy 2. They're located in Claremont and Davenport. Right now, you can't send your kids. We full. You can't send your kids there right now, but you could certainly join the waiting list.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And how long you been doing that? Running the schools, running the daycares?
We've been running the daycares. Me and my wife, my mom, my dad. We've been running the daycares together for 3 years.
That's what's up.
Yeah, my mother started her daycare 7 years ago, and at that time I was teaching in Washington D.C. And then I moved back to help and to expand. Thus far, we've been successful.
What were you teaching in D.C.?
I taught language arts, and then
what grade?
Oh, 8th grade.
Okay.
8th grade. Yep.
All right. So yeah, I like that answer. I mean, that was a dope answer. They got to give. But I'm just telling you, like me, I don't have the teaching experience, but my answer would when I went to school. I'm basing that back on when and my children are in like 6th and 7th grade right now, and they come home with these fanciful stories that they call social studies and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, well. Bill Cosby was a great African king too. You know what I mean? That's
Well, but what I saw in schools is children challenging that.
Yeah.
Frequently. You know what I mean? You couldn't pass off, the same literature that you passed off 10 years prior. You couldn't pass off those as you say mythologies that you did prior. Children understand that they understand history from a different perspective than what they've been taught.
Yeah.
They know that they've been taught lies.
Yeah.
So every day they're coming in ready to challenge what you say. And
Okay.
I think that's why that teacher feels such frustration
Okay.
is because she got into education thinking it was going to be like when she was being taught, which is children sat in chairs and listened to what the teacher said,
Yeah.
wrote what the teacher wanted them to write.
Yeah.
But now children give back essays that you as a teacher have to be challenged yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You're being challenged on what children are writing, and then you have to come back and explain. It's so much easier to tell people the truth. And I
Yeah.
think that that's where her frustration is that she's being forced to now deal with the truth. And that's not what she got into education for.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah.
What do you suspect she got into education for?
Well, we do most of the things that we do them as we saw.
Okay.
When perhaps she was in school, she saw children sitting in seats respecting authority.
Yeah.
And I don't know her.
Yeah,
I can't
right,
speak
right.
to her
Right.
and her background.
Yeah. But I mean, experience has
what
something to say
I've
about.
seen in education is so often people get into the school and they say these children are so disrespectful, they're so rude.
Yeah.
They're not like when we grew up. No, they're not. They have access to information.
Yeah.
They have access to the internet. They have access to their parents have access to information.
Yeah.
Their peers have access to information. So the minute you try to tell them that African history started in slavery, one of their peers is saying, "No, that's not what my dad said."
Yeah, right on.
You know what I mean?
Right on,
I'm pretty sure your daughters will vouch that, no, that's not what my mom and that's not what my father taught me.
So
I know that my 6-year-old will tell you flat out, like, no, that's not how it went.
100.
You know what I mean? So when you get into these spaces and you get into education, people are not prepared for that level of intelligence in our children.
Yeah.
And they're not prepared to combat it outside of waving their finger and saying, no, I'm the teacher, listen to me.
Yeah.
That builds frustration.
So
it leads to a lot of frustration.
Go to a private school, Catholic school, right? Just, because my daughter had a late birthday, needed to get in school, and so now the other sister go there, and so they just been going there, right? They got this teacher named, I'm not going to say her name.
Please don't say her name.
Yeah, I'm not. But this teacher, like these white people at the school just like to yell. And we don't yell at my house. We don't do no yelling and hollering and screaming. We don't, it's just don't get into no shouting matches. Ain't nobody at the house yelling. And so when the children tell me that somebody at the school yelling, I go holler at them. Hey,
Right.
we don't, I don't want them to learn to respond to that type of stimuli in order to be motivated to do the right thing. And so this one woman, teacher, is going to tell me every time they tell you something, you come up here and say this, that, but third. And then so I'm like, what am I supposed to do? You know what I mean?
You are that.
And so during this discussion, and the girls are right there, because, if they say something that's not true, I want the teacher, the instructor, the principal, whoever, to be able to say, check them. And vice versa. If they say something that don't match up with what really happened, I want them to be able to say, And so they right there. And so this white woman is going to tell me, right now, I believe that you're undermining me as an authority figure. I said, authority figure? I said, you ain't no authority figure.
And they believe that.
And she turned around and walked off, yo. She left the adult conversation and just walked off like, oh, well, thank you for telling me that. It just turned away and walked off.
And then tutor their nose up at your daughters the rest of the year.
Yeah, well.
Like, you know what I mean? But I think that the teachers are experiencing the same frustration that police officers are experiencing, which is people know the law. People know that you cannot do that.
Yeah.
They know that you can't, search. And they know that when they're being wronged. And children know. And parents are with it. Parents going to show up at the school. You know what I'm saying?
Rapid fire, because we got like 2 minutes before we go to our next break. Next question. The white woman said, you in this a room full of movers and shakers. White people. That's what she meant, because the Africans ain't moving and shaking nothing.
Mm-hmm.
She said, what can we do to make it better?
I say move and shake.
Move and shake.
Move and shake. What is the term mover and shakers in their world is I make a lot of money.
Yeah.
I have a lot of privilege. I have a lot of prestige.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How do you bring that to our world?
Yeah.
And if you don't have an answer for that, stop doing it in your world. Like if it's good enough, you know what I mean, that your world of moving and shaking looks like green and it looks like prestige and it looks like privilege. Our world moving and shaking should look like that too.
The panel's answer was, we just need y'all to help us. Just please help us. We just need you to help us. My answer would have been just like this. Get your phone out. Go to your Cash App. Cash App reparations to $ blah, 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 whatever my $ is.
Right.
They would have had to send money right then on the spot.
Yeah.
That would have been one answer. The other answer would have been, go to your white community where you live and get reparations. Y'all owe African people every damn thing you got is based on African labor. Pay it back. And we can't go to the Movers and Shakers Club to pay the $50, $75 dinner fund fee or whatever.
But listen, that's not what she meant. She meant none of that. When she said, what can I do?
She was looking for leadership.
But
them Africans should have led the way.
She knew good and well who she was talking to. And she knew that you was back there in the back. she knew that you wasn't up on the panel. You was in the back for that reason. They not letting you up on the panel because you might say something like that.
And I want to talk about that when we get back. Hey, we'll be right back at the Life Malcolm Show, InTouchNews.com. And 813-444-9588. Jump in on the conversation, man.
When it comes to reality radio, everyone is a star.
I know that's right.
On your smooth soul and R&B station.
On the World Wide Web.
Access granted.
In Touch Radio.
Call in and tell a friend to listen in. Listen up. It's In Touch Radio, reality radio.
All right. Welcome back to the Life Malcolm Show with my man, Cameron C. HopeWell. Man, you know, dude has always been clever. His name is Cameron HopeWell, C. Hope, and he used to think it was, I don't know, it was MySpace page. So his handle was I See Hope. I mean, just always a bright light. So, all right, so yeah, the question was, what can I do? We movers and shakers. They say this to these Africans. We movers and shakers. What can we do? And thank you. And like Cam said, move and shake. Damn it. And I would have said, cash. Get your phone out right now. Cash app the revolution. Reparations to the revolution. And I would have told them go to their own community and organize them to put reparations back into the community. And I ain't talking about no charity. We're talking about solidarity. Say, recognize that this entire relationship to the police, the pigs, is a consequence of the exploitative relationship that capitalism has with African people, and the relationship to that relationship white people have, the beneficial relationship white people have to that relationship, and pay it back. The other thing, you know, if nothing else, I would have told him like Malcolm told her, you can't do nothing but leave us the hell alone. And so, okay, so that was that question. So third question was, one of them, and I got this lady name too. I told you I was going to find this, she called herself a community organizer. I stopped calling myself a community activist because most activists are like talkavists. And started calling myself a community organizer. This woman has made it so I got to come up with something else. And her name is Bernice. Well, she's a political strategist and community organizer, Bernice Loredan. So it was Stanley Gray of the Urban League of Hillsborough County, Bernice Loredan, and Yvette Lewis. That's how they were sitting, Stanley, Bernice, and Yvette. And so the question became, some kind of way on this panel, they talking about defund the police, then it turned into disarm the police, why the police need guns, and that's a good question. You know, but they didn't have the panel didn't have an answer. They posed the question, why did the police have guns? They don't have an answer for the question. The reality is the police need guns because they have to keep the colonized people scared. You know, with the most terrible and atrocious types of brutality, because that's why they're always in the community, not because there's so much crime, but because there's so much potential for revolution in those sectors of the community where those of us are most oppressed and exploited. And so that's why they have to have guns, so they can maintain that terror. But the question became, you know, rhetorical question from the panel, why do they need guns? And, you know, disarm them, just let them have tasers or something like that. And then some kind of way off the panel, the idea came about that when they do ride-alongs with the police, they nervous or scared or something like that to ride without being strapped. And so the white woman cleverly posed the question, well, how you on the one hand gonna say disarm the police and then sound contradictory on the other hand by saying it ain't safe to be out there without arms? So how would you have responded, brother?
To the question of the contradiction?
Yeah, either or. I mean, you know.
I think that black
so
people.
wait a minute. Let me remember. I asked the question that they asked at the Tiger Bay Club to the Negro panel. Then I'm asking C Hope so he can answer. Then I'm gonna give you the panel's answer. Then I'm gonna give you my answer.
I have a so help me understand. The question is, how do you handle the contradiction of Africans being afraid in their own communities while with police?
No. The question the white woman asked. So I just set the question up. You know, I just gave some context. The Africans on the one hand say disarm the police.
Correct.
And on the other hand say they don't feel safe riding with the police if they're not strapped. And so the white woman say, how can you say that we should disarm the police when it's not even safe? You made me believe that it's not safe to be without arms. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so, how would you have handled that if you had set yourself up with that kind of contradiction?
I would not have set myself
of course
up with
not.
that contradiction.
Of course not.
Because that's not something that I believe is true.
Right. Of course not. But
that they believe
it's
that
hypothetical.
Is true. Yeah, that they believe that is true. I think that they got to do some searching within themselves. I can't answer a question. I don't even know how to answer that question, to just be honest.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, yeah, I don't have no answer for that question.
I agree. I'm probably in the same situation. Yeah. But let me tell you the answer that the Negro leaders gave. I didn't say disarm the police. I need the police. Look here. If I get in trouble, I need the police to come save me. I need them to come. Yes.
And they do.
Yeah, well,
they do. That's
guess.
true. They do, because they do not believe in themselves. They don't believe in the people around them, the community around them. They don't have enough trust in themselves or the community to believe that they don't. They've been the I don't know, the system in itself has done a good job of creating this big bad wolf that's going to come if you don't have the police.
Yeah.
But if you don't believe in the wolf, then you don't need to believe in the police.
Yeah.
And I think that so many of us have subscribed due to influences, due to entertainment, due to just mythology, that the police are absolutely necessary, because in America, there's so many people with guns, and there's so many people who are crazy. And every day there's somebody who's committing these atrocities in your space.
Yeah.
But I have not been in a space. I'll tell you what, I was at Ross in 2001, and it was robbed.
Okay.
It's 2021.
That's the store? Ross?
The store.
Okay.
It's 2021.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's 20 years I've not seen a crime committed.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if I stay in tune with what I'm being fed, I would believe that every time I go to Ross, there's potential that I need the police. I go to Ross and I'm upset that the line is long. I'm not worried about it getting robbed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I've had far more experiences going there and the line is long. I have one experience where something happened. You see what I'm saying? So I think that for people who have subscribed to this way of thinking, they always going to think police need guns and more guns and some more stuff. I asked this question the other day. I said, do police need guns? And somebody told me they need some guns and tanks and some more stuff. And I'm like, where's all this crime happening that you need a tank? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where did that happen?
We got little mini tanks riding down the street in Tampa.
But does the crime justify the use of tanks? Because when you think
the potential of revolution justifies it for the colonizer.
But I think that that's true for you and I. But I don't think that that's true for the panel. I think for the panel, they've subscribed to this idea of the wolf. And if you believe in the wolf, then you need some guns and some more stuff.
Let me tell you something about the police. We need the police like we need. What did you say? Oh, watch it. Okay, yes. Thank you. We need one of them buttons. We can bleep me out. We need the police like we need garbage. The police don't solve no problems in our community. The biggest, one of the most widely watched trials, probably of the, it's just new millennia, but of the past 50 years, right? Is this George Chauvin trial? What's his name? Derek Chauvin. Yeah. White people, I don't remember the name like that. He looked like a Derek, but I should remember that. Derek Chauvin. All right. The whole reason why this guy, well, one of the things that led to this conviction is this 17-year-old African girl's video, a selfie. All the technology the police got, all the communication, all the people, all the stuff they got, they can't never get no conviction. All the body, they can't never get a conviction. But this 17-year-old girl helped solve, at least in some of our minds, some kind of problem. The police don't solve problems. All they do is come to our community, snatch us up, beat us down, kill us. So this whole notion that we need the police is just nonsense. What we need is each other. And you said something on the way to break that I went on the panel. And, I've said to you often, one of the things I really appreciate about you is your perpetual respect for those of us who came before you in the poetry game, those of us who may have exhibited some qualities that you deemed worth emulating, etc. And you've never been shy about that. And I've never been shy about telling you how much I appreciate that because I understand how important that is, right? And these Africans, I don't know if Bernice knows me or not. I don't know her. But I mean, it's Tampa. It's hard not to know me. I think people used to know me around here. I look different now, I guess. But anyway, I know Yvette Lewis knows me. I know Stanley Gray knows me. When them Tiger Bay Club people came to them and said, "Hey, we want to talk to you about what's the subject?" The Tiger Bay Club will host a panel on the impact of protests that erupted locally and across the country. Last summer saw numerous protests around Tampa Bay demanding justice, but has anything? Yeah, they know damn well they were not equipped to have that conversation, and they ran into limitations quickly. The limitations were apparent quickly. As a matter of fact, they started saying stuff like, "Well, justice anywhere, injustice anywhere is justice. Injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere." And then to close it out, Stanley Gray said, I'm going to quote President Roosevelt, "Do what you can, how you can, when you can." I was like,
let him off the hook. He let him off the hook.
Yeah, and but he could have let him off the hook another way.
But understand,
he could have got off the hook.
But
he
I know
could
you
have said,
understand.
"Call this African right here."
Yeah, but I know that you understand that the charade of the panel was to be let off the hook from the get-go. It was never to have a real discussion. It's those things are not to create change.
Of course not.
They're to allow things to stay the same, but say you did something.
But these Africans,
and feel better.
But these Africans should have called me because they know that I can have that conversation in a meaningful way. You know what I mean? But some Africans just want to be in the picture, on the panel, with the group. I don't care about the panel. I talk on here every Tuesday.
But were they selected to this panel?
I don't give a damn if they voted for them.
I'm pretty sure that they were selected to the panel.
They could have said, "Hey, I can't do it. I'm going to get up there and start saying stupid stuff like injustice anywhere is an injustice everywhere." I know y'all done heard that before, but hell, I'm going to say it now, because I ain't got nothing else to say, And, yeah, okay, so look, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, family members and friends, and those listening on assignment, when we get back, my man, C. Hope, is going to talk to us about this book. Look, let me tell you something. I wrote a book, put a book out a long time ago. It didn't have no hardcover. Understand me? This book, this is serious business. As a matter of fact, I know a lot of people who got books. I got a lot of them on the shelf. I don't think I have one book with no hard cover. And, man, I don't know if these are private words, but these are very inspiring and encouraging and touching words, man. I might read one sentence. I'll pick one and read it to you, man, just to let y'all know that this my brother for real. But hey, when we get back, we're gonna talk to C Hope about Stained Glass, the awaited fictional debut. It's been awaited, and y'all waiting, but just for a little while longer. Right here, Life Malcolm Show, InTouchNews.com, where everybody's a star. The biggest star is you, especially if you call in 813-444-9588. We'll see you right back.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call Herman White at 961-6661. That's 961-6661.
In Touch Radio.
This is Joel Sylvain
and Kevin Carr,
and we're with Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. Come join us every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Power Moves
On In Touch Radio. We're playing your favorite old school. Today's R&B. With a smooth touch of jazz. You're listening to In Touch Radio.
What happens after the break, so in between breaks, in between segments, actually. So I was just telling my man Cam about my man who invited me to the Tiger Bay Club. His last name was Leon.
Don't say his name. He's not going to be able to get back in.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
All right,
They're gonna
all right,
like,
then.
you
All right,
let
cool.
him in, you can't come back in either.
All right,
Take him
yeah,
with you.
Yeah, all right, bet. Yeah. Say no more. All right. So thank you. I appreciate that. See, I can learn. I can learn.
We want the
I
brother
learned
to be able to
something
go
today.
back.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
Otherwise, we won't know that there's another panel.
Right on. All right. I think they want that money anyway. I think I might join, so I can ask a question. I started to join right then. Hey,
how much is it to ask one question?
About $75.
I think
but for the year though, it's like a $75 membership for the year.
I think they're gonna increase yours because you ain't gonna go in there and ask one question. I know you're not gonna ask one question.
I'll be at every meeting. I started with my own lunch though. Yeah. I had salad. It was, but anyway, man, I really appreciate you coming on to the show, brother. Making the journey over here to just chop it up and give the people some really insightful and thoughtful answers I could not have come up with because I don't have the close connection with a lot of children that has apparently lent you tremendous insight on what the children like you have your finger, it seems, on the pulse of the children, not just the young children with whom you work in the daycare, but the older children as well. I mean, right now I just got my little crew, and I'm stay in tune with them. But I don't have opportunity to deal with many people that way, and so I really appreciate you coming here to share those things. Now, I want to talk about you, brother. Look, I am so happy to have this book in my hand. Thought I was gonna have it a long time ago. Snub. Snub. Look, it says, to life, we say what's understood don't need explanation. That's it. Damn right. All right. Good enough. That's all y'all get. I ain't know. Y'all done told y'all the other week. Y'all don't get to be all in my life like that. But just know some real touching and heartfelt words in this book, man. I appreciate it. So now, tell the audience about Stained Glass. Y'all can't see the little writing right here, so I'm going to read it. Stained Glass Black women are God, Andre. Either remember it from me or spend your life repeatedly finding that out. Sabri said that. And Sabri is a character in the book.
Sabri is a character in the book.
All right, so break it on down, man. Tell us about stained glass.
Stained glass come from a place like many of us when Breonna Taylor got murdered in her apartment. There was a lot of chatter, not only against the police who did it, but almost an indictment on black men as well. That and not just from that situation, but from many, that black men can't protect their women. And hearing that, it felt like it was an indictment on me. I took that very personally because I do believe in that. That's something that, I hold my head strong about, hold my head high about, is the fact that I will and do protect black women. And that's a tenet of mine. So for many people, and myself included, I just felt like, man, where's our story? Where's the story of the black man that protects black women?
Yeah.
Where is it?
Yeah.
And I went to Facebook foolishly and got indicted again because I asked my collective of friends, hey, is there any stories about a black man that protects black women? And the response was basically, nigga, you write it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it was like, when you gonna write it?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't write books. You know what I mean? I've done poetry and, I've written other things, but I've never written a book. And I said, no, I'm not writing it. That's not my charge. You know what I'm saying? I just asked the question.
Right.
You guys ain't have to treat me like that.
Right.
But, before long, I found myself writing it. And I ended up writing chapter after chapter of a young man who's coming into his own and deciding willfully to be that person.
Is the young man Andre?
The young man is Andre.
Okay.
And another name is got to be Andre. But who willfully takes on the charge of protecting our women and avenging our women.
So why the title Stained Glass?
You gotta read it. You gotta read it to know why.
All right. No, I can do that.
Why,
I'm gonna read it too.
Yes, sir. You have to read it in order to know.
Do I find out at the end of the book? Or?
No, you'll find out. You'll find out very shortly into the book why the title is Stained Glass.
Can you talk about the cover? Because it's a provocative cover.
Yeah, and the cover, what you see is in Tampa Bay in the Clearwater area. At one point, there was a building. And people swore the Virgin Mary was on the building. And the glass had gotten stained, and they thought it was the Virgin Mary. People came from around the world to see this Virgin Mary that appeared on this building.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, somebody eventually, like all things, threw a brick through it and ended that.
Mythology.
Yeah. So what you're seeing here is it just so happened that when a person took the picture, they took a picture of a black officer in the window where that mural or stained imagery existed.
Yeah. Okay. So when did you start the book?
Shortly after Breonna Taylor was murdered.
How long did it take you to finish?
I think about 4 weeks.
Really? Yeah, so you were writing like crazy.
It was a lot of experiences that came out in the book.
Okay.
There was a lot of things that I recognized in my community since a young man that had to come out in this book. And it didn't take long to start developing characters and developing, the story.
So is this your first fictional work? I mean,
yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes. It's the first one that I've, offered to the public.
Okay.
I've written narratives before, but nothing like this.
Okay. So how long did it take you wrote it in 4 weeks, but to get this product though?
Yeah.
Did you have editors?
Yes.
Or,
my editor Deanna Augustine, she did an amazing job editing. She went through 3 or 4 times just because I wrote it on my phone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like many things with technology, I don't sit at a computer. You know what I mean? I wrote so much on my phone. I sent it to her, as an iPhone document. And she's like, hey, what am I gonna do with this? You know what I mean? At least put it in Microsoft Word for me. You know what I mean? So she went through and she did her thing and made sure that everything was all, what do you say, the I's are dotted and the T's crossed?
Yeah. Can you tell people how you managed to publish it?
My wife. My wife. It's just plain and simple.
You want to say, man, I talked about family. Like, man, you want to say something about family, man, what fatherhood, husbandhood, and all that stuff. It's like, man, we got like 5 minutes, man. You are a shining example. I've said that. Like, my pops wasn't around much. I saw him during the summers, and I hated that. And I was a terrible husband in my first marriage, my first to the first wife, and probably a better father than I ever been a husband, and probably not the best father to the oldest two children. The younger two benefited from all my mistakes, but I watched you, man, and as much as I can, based on what you share. And, of course, our conversations, I've watched you be one of those people that I look to as an example of husbandhood, fatherhood, etc. So, man, talk about that, a little bit. How you just fell into that.
I think that it was remembering. I was fortunate enough to see my father and my mother stay together. I think they've been together over 40 years. I couldn't tell you the exact number of years, but I think it's right around 40. I'm 37, yeah. So it's right around 40 years that they've been together. I was fortunate enough to see my father be a good husband and a good dad, a quality person in the community. And I didn't think it was my turn until it was my turn.
Yeah.
And then when it became my turn, I took it on and I said I'm gonna do the best of my ability to do this the right way. You know what I mean? I don't have all the answers, but I intend on doing it the right way.
Do people often recognize that that example that you lay down? Is that something that people point to or highlight about you? Because, like, for me, maybe it's like normal in the circles you run in, but to me, it's like you goddamn celebrity.
I think that they do. I think that they do. Many men reach out for mentorship purposes and just to kind of see, like, okay, is what I'm seeing real? Because I have not seen it often.
Yeah.
I haven't seen someone who's raising their family the way that you're raising the family. They haven't seen a husband and wife cooperate with each other the way that my wife and I cooperate.
Yeah.
Like I say, you asked me how the book got published. My wife would have to be sitting right here to tell you how it got published because I was going to give the book away.
Yeah.
I said, babe, I got this thing written. I want to send it to my friends and family so they can read it.
Yeah.
She said, no, this is an opportunity for you to, have something for yourself, to have something to, shows your real work. And she took a hold of it. And
man, let me get back to that. How do people get their hands on stained glass?
I am very grassroots. I am not a technology, person. The DJ keep telling me to stand up close to the mic. I am not that guy. So, you can go to my Facebook page, see HopeWell. You can go to my Instagram page. It's on there. There's also a link tree in my bio. That's really all I can give you. I can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have a www dot nothing. Okay. So definitely, you know what I mean? You got to kind of look for me, but I'm not that hard to find.
So that's what's up. So what I'm gonna do is I'll make sure I include the bio.
Much appreciated.
On my Facebook page and slide it in, on the In Touch page, so the family who's watching here can pick up on it, who will watch later, because I'm sure that if it's come from you, it's got to be an incredible story, and I'm looking forward to reading it. I'm sure people will learn something from it and enjoy it as well. See, Hope, I really appreciate you coming through, brother, and I'm looking forward to the next time. Let's not make it like 5 years, though. Let's do it.
It don't gotta be.
Let's do it sooner than that. All right, y'all. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all watching. Appreciate y'all listening. And we'll talk next week. I might just be up in here by myself to talk that sugar honey iced tea with you. All right. To be continued.